Ladies and gentlemen, hope your day was well. My name is Dr. Robert Mogo. I am an academician, a CPA, and a financial analyst. Welcome to my channel about financial literacy simplified. You can go to my YouTube, you can go to TikTok, you can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram, you can go to X. Today I want us to borrow or to learn some skills about borrowing. It is a series that we shall learn. For example, we shall learn about where can you borrow. We shall learn about why do people borrow in institution X as opposed to institution Y. In terms of borrowing, we know that debt is part of life. You have to keep on having debt. Debt, if used properly, gives you what we call financial leverage, making work easy. Ni kama unabeba mawe na wheelbarrow na mtu mwingine anabeba na shoulders. Wa wheelbarrow can carry many stones and for long without getting tired. The one who carries with their shoulders may carry maybe some few hours. If they are strong enough, then they will not be able to work for the next like 2 or 3 days. So we can borrow money from the main institutions like banks. You can borrow money from SACCOs. We can borrow money from microfinance institutions. We can borrow money from mobile lending apps. We can borrow money from banking apps. Banks do have also, apart from their conventional lending, they also have apps that they can use and to advance credit. We can also borrow money from mobile platforms like M-Shwari, Fuliza. You can even borrow airtime, like from Okoa Jahazi. We know that in all times, debt comes with a cost. The cost of debt is what we call interest. But that aside, individuals may prefer to borrow from this as opposed to this. The question is, what makes us or what makes an individual borrow from organization X as opposed to Y? There are several reasons. One of them could be, what is the urgency of that money? How urgent do you need this money? I need money in 10 minutes time. It is at midnight. Can I be able to go to the conventional lending platforms? At that point, because if you are in an emergency, you don't care about anything else apart from how fast can I get this money? We shall also ask ourselves, what are the conditions that come along with this borrowing? Some institution will check your pay slip. If they check your pay slip, do you meet the 1/3 rule? Some institutions will check, have you saved in that institution? Some institutions will check about if it is a group, is your group in good credit rating? Even you as an individual, are you in the right credit status? In terms of the conditions for this lending, you find that the conventional lending platforms may have some strictness as opposed to mobile platforms. We shall also ask ourselves, what is the cost of this debt? You want to borrow money, 10 million. Do you want to borrow 10 million at 100% interest per annum, or you want to borrow 10 million at 15% per annum. In terms of huge amounts, cost comes into play. We shall also ask ourselves, what is the duration of this credit that has been advanced? You want to borrow, pay in 10 years. You want to borrow, sometime pay in hours. What are those, the duration of that lending platform? We shall also ask ourselves, if I want to borrow this money, what is the purpose in which I am using this money? You want to borrow to pay school fees. Another person wants to borrow to build a maisonette. Another person wants to borrow to put some flats for real estate. Another person wants to borrow to set up a business enterprise. When you want to borrow in this, what comes into play? We shall also ask ourselves, if you want to borrow this amount of money, what is the repayment terms? Some institutions may ask you to first pay interest, then later you pay the principal, like what we call debentures. You may find if you have taken a debenture for 5 years as a company, you pay year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just interest, then year 5 you pay the principal. So you will look at this, what suits you. As I said, we shall keep on learning about this borrowing, and in the next lesson we shall look at these financial institutions or these places to borrow one by one, and then we shall be looking at what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, and then you as the viewer, you will make a decision based on your situation. Let's keep on interacting. That is where I want to stop at today. I wish you well. Keep on subscribing to my channel, Financial Literacy Simplified. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Wish you well.